It's Breakfast Central on News Central, and we are starting off on a Monday morning fresh, if you like to call it that way. Absolutely, yes. You can follow us on all socials. Don't forget to also tweet us, and you can also drop in by sending a WhatsApp message reacting to the stories, especially as we're about to start with the front pages of the dailies. And our first stop definitely starts in West Africa.
All right, West Africa is the very first paper we're starting with, and that's News Direct this morning. Now, the Nigerian News Direct talks about the electricity situation in the country. Now, we all know if you're in West Africa, if you're in Nigeria to be precise, we understand the situation of the light as it is. Power outage, it says, federal government to restore electricity nationwide today. Well, will they keep to their word? Joe, I can tell you that my night was pretty heated, like literally a hot night it was for me. Gas shortage responsible for power outage, experts are coming out to say, as Serap charges federal government to probe missing 11 trillion naira electricity fund. Ooh. That's on page 29 from the News Direct this morning. Jonathan the Koru allowed NCDMB as Ericsson launches factory in Bayelsa. Okay, that's a good one on page 2. Buhari condemns violence in Southeast. Consoles Obiozo. That's what it's saying right now on page 3 of the paper this morning. You can see the former president of Nigeria himself, Ebele Jonathan. He was, he seemed to be observing or going through a project that was being done in Bayelsa, which is his home country, his home city, I beg your pardon, but there's more details from the News Direct this morning. Auction 2022, support me, you won't be disappointed, Oyetola tells electorate. But you can get more of that from the Nigerian News Direct this morning.
All right, so away from the News Direct, let's move on to another paper this morning, and let's check out what else we have this morning as we look at more stories on the screen. We will be looking at another paper, that's the Daily News this morning. And Daily News has that big headline there, government improve cargo handling. Now, don't forget, this is all about Tanzania, and that's what we're talking about. Government improve cargo handling, that's what they say. Well, that story, you'll find details when you read the Daily News this morning. But that's not all. Let's also look at another one. Samia, yes, of course, that's Samia Suluhu Hassan to inaugurate 18 billion water project. Samia to inaugurate 18 billion water project. Now, she's doing things like we've rightly said. And last week, she celebrated her 100 years in office.
100
days. Yes, 100 years, I beg your pardon. 100 days, I beg your pardon, in office. And while she celebrated that 100 days, a lot of things were picked from her strides, what she's achieved. Things like infrastructure, and we just saw one right here. That's what you see on the front page there, inaugurating 18 billion water project. Well, kudos to her. Hopefully, let's see how that pans out. Let's also look at one more story. Banks grow stronger under President Samia. Page 16. Read that, and you get some more. We also have this sad story on the front page there. Morogoro accident victims to be compensated. That's not a story you might want to check out, but hey, make sure you pick up the Daily News. It's all away from Tanzania, and you can read every single thing inside of it.
All right, moving from the Daily News this morning, the very next paper, we should be going to East, West, North, or South. We're coming back to West Africa with The Nation this morning, and The Nation seems to have quite a number of stories. It's all about the APC convention. It says Southwest peaks Kekemeke Omishore. That's what it's saying there. You can see the picture also right there in front of you. That's one major story we have coming from The Nation this morning. You can also see someone seems to be calling out the president himself. Federal government, according to the information here, it says Buhari, federal government reviewing Southeast security. That's another big story you can get from page 8. Now on page 8 also, 700,000 IDPs in my state. Governor is coming out to lament. More from The Nation this morning.
All right, now that's all. Well, that's not all. Let's just give you one more. Oh, we have one more piece before we go straight to our top stories this morning. Daily Nation, that's what you have on the front page there, and that front page gets me cracking. It says crowds for hire, decision 2022, crowds for hire. Now, it's talking simply about democracy on sale. A Daily Nation and NTV investigation reveals shocking details of the normalization of hirelings on the campaign trail. and how politicians will do anything to create false impressions of popularity, including using photo and video editing software, Oluchi, to distort rally numbers.
Whoa.
So if you read this story, I mean, I found this piece very interesting this morning while going through a bit. It talks about politicians even going as far as employing professional graphic artists who will definitely use character generation images to ensure that CGIs, to ensure that when they take these pictures and when they put them up or out there, you would get to see the large crowd and be like, wow, it's like they really love this president. Well, in true sense, no, they don't. An example is with the picture you find on the front page there. They said these numbers aren't true. What you just see there is a replication of numbers or characters. And that's why you have CGIs there. Well,
I think it's also called Photoshop, yeah?
You could do a little bit of
word.
Photoshop, but more of, a bit more of Photoshop, just add here and there. But CGIs, you just generate like movies. You just have 10 people, you use CGIs and make them look like 1,000. Same persons, but different angles and locations. But anyway, let's take one more story. Sibling rivalry threatens to tear apart alliances. You might want to read that story. It's at the top. It's got to do with Azimio. And you talk about Raila Odinga in Kenya. Kwanzaa leader William Ruto face an uphill battle to contain the sibling rivalry in their teams. Now, there's this rivalry of some sorts going on in both camps. You want to read about it. I'll guard your wealth. Ruto assures Uhuru, I'll guard your wealth, he says. Well, in strong terms, can he do that? Well...